Hey, Pretty Girl Club. Welcome to another episode of Comment, Foolery, Exposed. In this video, I am going to be talking about some of the comments against Ekane. They are calling her a colorist. Please be sure to watch my most recent video about Ekane. I'm actually going to have to make this into a small series because there is so much comment foolery about Ekane to the point where I can't even keep up. I mean, it's all over Twitter, it's on TikTok, it's on Lipstick Alley. So this person says, let me tell you something. And then he has a gif of Jim Carrey with his hair in bald patches. So imagine if I were to pull up a picture of a dark-skinned black male in order to make fun of a dark-skinned black woman who has bald spots on her head. So notice how there's constantly this energy of you can dish it out, but you can't take it back. So the jokes are always funny until the jokes are against a dark-skinned black woman. And notice how much harsher they're being on Ekane because they pedestalize Ekane. This person says, you make $40K a month and look like that? So again, this person is coming for her looks. And I'm going to pull up a picture of Ekane on the screen in her natural state. And I would love to ask these people, please point to the features on Ekane's face that are ugly. Please point to what about her skin tone is ugly. Please point to what about her hair is ugly. Is it the texture of her hair? Is it the fact that she has bald spots? Because if Ekane's hair is ugly, and I were to talk about the hundreds of thousands of unambiguous dark-skinned black women with hair that looks like that under their wigs, would you call their hair ugly as well? Or are all of these things only ugly on Ekane? And are you only dragging her physical appearance because you think she is a colorist? And if you are dragging her physical appearance because you think she deserves it or because she's a colorist, then guess what? There are going to be other people who keep that same energy and they will drag you if they think you deserve it. So just be careful because there are going to be some people out here who keep the same energy. This person says, having this much confidence to talk shit when you're down bad for a down low bum who beats on you is crazy. Let's not even get on the dirty factor, but I guess this y'all queen. So now they are referencing her relationship to a black man who I guess she is in a domestic violence relationship apparently, or her boyfriend is abusive or something like that. So now they're actually bringing up her physical abuse. Notice how on this channel, we get criticized if we laugh at certain jokes or if we make certain videos. And then people will say, you're making fun of black women's insecurities. You're making fun of black women being abused. But here's a screenshot right here of a person saying that she is getting beat on by a down low bum. And I see plenty of people laughing at her being abused. It also reminds me of the Cassie situation where they said, oh, she got the same black man. Her light skin didn't save her from getting her ass beat. Her light skin didn't save her from being abused. But imagine if I said, oh, she got the same white man or she got the same black man. Her dark skin didn't save her from getting her ass beat. Then I would be called a colorist. This person says, that hair not gonna let her make it to the heights she talking about. Okay, so now we've got a person saying that her hair is going to hold her back. And by the way, I believe that this girl is an influencer who talks about wigs and stuff. So please tell me how her hair is going to hold her back. Please tell me what about her hair makes her handicapped socially to the point where, now you can't succeed because you've got a little bit of breakage or some bald spots on your hair. So now suddenly you're just screwed in society because you've got a couple of bald patches on your head. Meanwhile, there are millions of people walking around with traction alopecia right now. This person says, I don't know who this is, but if they remake the Jeffersons, she can play George. And then they put a picture of George from the Jeffersons. So they're actually comparing her to a man. And guess what group of women complains the most about being masculinized or about them being made fun of and having images brought up of men, such as, Jamie Foxx in a dress or Tyler Perry in a dress or Kevin Hart in a dress. Unambiguous black women talk about this all the time on YouTube, how they don't like being made fun of and having men dressed up as women, like Shanae or whatever. They don't like that because they feel like it affects their image negatively. But notice how all of this moral policing that they try to do, like, oh, we want to look feminine and we support positive promotion, that all goes out the window when it comes to a light-skinned woman. So Ekane being monoracially black did not save her. Because I don't see the majority of unambiguous black women coming to save her. I don't see the majority of unambiguous black women as a whole saying that, oh, this is okay, or, you guys shouldn't use these memes and these images. Nope. And so this is why I understand why some women are like Ekane, to where they're like, I'm no longer caping for women who wouldn't cape for me. Because the same people that say we're both black at the end of the day, or we're all the same at the end of the day, those same people will turn on you at a moment's notice. And notice how all this rhetoric about positive promotion and, oh, we don't want, you're laughing at black women's abuse or black women's femicide or black women being threatened. And apparently Ekane is in a domestic violence situation with her boyfriend and has allegedly been hit by him, or they're in some sort of violent relationship. We've got people laughing about it and making memes about it. This person says, saying this while looking like her name is Kizzy Kente is wild. So I think they're trying to make a play on Kunta Kente, or at least that's how it comes off to me. Isn't that interesting that she says that? This person says 40K a month looking like that. So notice how they keep on bringing up that basically you're not pretty enough to be talking this much shit. So it's that hierarchy mindset. Once again, you're not a 10, you're a 6. It's the same thing that we see a lot of black men saying in the red pill space. You're not a 10, you're a 6. You think you're cuter than you actually are. You think you're cute, Ekane, and how dare you act like this? You're too cocky. You're too cocky with those bald patches in your head. You're not even cute. Only a woman who's prettier than you can be that cocky. This person says, bruh, she not even light-skinned. So apparently, ladies and gentlemen, this is not light-skinned either. So now not only are they upholding the paper bag test, but no, it's not even paper bag test anymore. You must be white passing to be light-skinned. So do you see how whenever they want to humble you or silence you, instead of addressing your talking points, instead of addressing Ekane's actual talking points and what she said, they want to argue back and forth about how she's not light-skinned, as if not being light-skinned suddenly invalidates her talking points. And that's another thing. So what do you mean by she's not light-skinned? Are you saying that if she were darker skinned, that invalidates her talking point? That in and of itself is colorist right there, because you're implying that you have to be lighter skinned to be able to make those comments. A darker person can't say that, and you're not even light-skinned. You're too dark to be light-skinned, therefore you can't talk about this. So do you see the internalized colorism jumping out once again? And also, why do you care about Ekane thinking she's light-skinned? Like, seriously, why do you care about her being light-skinned or not? Her thinking that she is light-skinned doesn't hurt you at all. Her thinking that she is light-skinned, it doesn't affect your personal life. So why do you care about how people perceive their own skin tones? This person says, it's the same thing every time. She says something controversial, people expose her for being a pedophile, she gets canceled, says something funny and relatable, gets popular, repeat. That's exactly what it is. And like I said, instead of focusing on Normani's album, people would rather focus on Ekane. This person says, now who went and hyped up Miss Pissy Panties? I bet her booty hole dark skin. That motherfucker at least 3 shades darker than her skin tone. Tuh. So this person is trying to insult her by saying her butthole is dark skin. So again, what does that have to do with anything? Why are you talking about her booty hole? And this is another thing I've noticed. A lot of people in the unambiguous community, they randomly bring up light-skinned black women's sexuality. If you don't believe me, look at Queen Chama's video about Brianna Monique. It was a video where she was calling Brianna Monique a texturist, and then she randomly went on a rant about how Brianna Monique was apparently sleeping with these different NFL players. And so with this person making this comment, I bet her booty hole is dark skin and she's Miss Pissy Panties. Like, why are you thinking about her panties and her booty hole and what color her booty hole is? I've noticed that even the internalized sexualization of light-skinned black women comes out when people are trying to insult you. So it's you're automatically a hoe. You know, there was a video recently where someone made a comment about someone being a Creole whore. So it's like, okay, you're meeting that pretty girl whore stereotype now, and now they're randomly bringing up the color of her butthole. And also, even if somebody does have a darker complected butt, what's wrong with that? How is it an insult and how is it bad even if she does have a dark butt? And now this person has a picture of a bald guy trying to say that Ekane looks like this guy. But this guy, he is definitely not dark skinned. I mean, he has a very light complexion, and I would argue that he would be perceived as non-black. So which one is it? So is he dark skinned as well? You know, because he's around the same complexion as Ekane, so they're both dark skinned. Okay, so this is the new standard of dark skinned. This person says, I'm light-skinned and ugly. Don't hate on me, you darkies. And then they have the picture of, I can't remember this girl's name, but it's the girl with the headset and the braces. So they're trying to say that she is ugly. And once again, I would love to see which features on her face do you consider to be ugly? Eyes, nose, lips, what? Skin tone? bone structure, her West African features. Which one is it? What part of her face is ugly? This person says the heights, and it's her and Chris boxing at that damn vanity every day. So once again, we have another person bringing up her domestic violence situation, apparently, that she is in her relationship. And they are making fun of it. So they're laughing. They're laughing at black women being abused because Ekane, she identifies as monoracially black. So now they're laughing at black women being abused. Chrissy, I'm talking to you. They're laughing at black women being abused. They're laughing at black femicide or black women potentially getting killed. This person says that's why she going through what she goes through. I don't even feel bad no more. So once again, we've got a third person in a row talking about her domestic violence situation. So I don't see Chrissy talking about black femicide now. I don't see unambiguous black creators suddenly being so concerned about this woman's safety and whether or not she's potentially being abused and how you shouldn't make jokes about that and that's not funny because she is potentially unsafe as a black woman. I don't see black women who were critiquing me about this just a few weeks ago. Where are those black women now talking about Ekane and her safety and how people shouldn't be laughing when she is potentially unsafe? So do you see how a lot of women, they dish it out, but they can't take it back? So if you laugh at something or if you make a joke or a comment, then you're a colorist. Meanwhile, on Ekane's, this is only on Twitter. This is only on one post on Twitter. I've got all of these comments so far, just within about 10 minutes of doing research. This person says, saying this while looking like George Jefferson and getting a weekly kung fu beating from a hype is crazy. So once again, we've got a fourth person bringing up her domestic violence situation, using it as a humbling tactic against her, basically saying your light skin couldn't save you. You know, once again, making fun of her abuse. This reminds me of the Danny Lay situation, how people had a field day. They loved talking about how this pretty girl who was supposedly, supposed to be so privileged, how she got the same black man. So once again, it's the same thing as like the red pill talking point. Oh, you got with the Pookie, shoulda chose better. You got the same black man. You didn't choose the good guy. You chose a Pookie. That's what the red pill men say. You chose the Pookie, and now you basically got what you deserve. Choose better. So now we've got women in pro-black spaces using the same red pill rhetoric as a way to humble Ekane. And they're saying she's getting a weekly kung fu beating. This person says, and when she says dark-skinned women, I hope y'all know she is referring to all of us darker colored women. Whether she was just addressing the person who said something to her, what the fuck does that have to do with the rest of us darker women elevating and making money because of our skin? So this person is basically announcing to other dark-skinned women, hey, she's talking to all of us, so we should all be offended right now. We should all be outraged right now. And that is the problem with the dark-skinned, unambiguous black female community. Instead of spending their time social climbing or helping each other social climb or streaming Normani's album that came out on June 14th or paying attention to the careers of women like Kelly Rowland and worrying about what those types of women are doing, instead of that, they are announcing to other dark-skinned women, hey, look, here is yet another person that doesn't like you, or another person who thinks she's better than you, or who hates on you. And this has to be emotionally exhausting. I mean, if I were dark skinned, constantly thinking about who's racist, whose color is, who doesn't like me, who hates me, I would be very stressed out. But that dark skinned woman right there, she's trying to announce to the other dark skins, hey, just so you know, you guys shouldn't like her. She doesn't like you guys. This person says the way her aura comes off and the way she presents herself and carries herself, and also her barely being on the light skin spectrum. Like, clearly, I get her skin is lighter, but she's still brown. Light skinned women be light skinned. So once again, we've got this person trying to humble her or silence her by saying, oh no, you're not light skinned, so you can't talk about privilege. Have you ever noticed that you're only allowed to discuss privilege if you don't have that particular privilege? So notice how Ostefko is the one who went viral when talking about pretty privilege. Why did Ostefko go viral? Well, because she perceives herself as not having pretty privilege. But if you come out and you say, yes, I do have pretty privilege, or yes, I do have quote unquote light skin privilege, then the first response that people give is, oh no, shut the fuck up, you're not pretty. Oh no, shut up, you're not light skinned. So you can't talk about light skin privilege because you don't have it. You can't talk about pretty privilege because you don't have it. And it's like there are people on YouTube all the time who talk about white privilege and they're not white. There are people who talk about thin privilege and they're not thin. There are women who talk about pretty privilege and they don't view themselves as pretty. So even if Ekane is not light-skinned, she still can talk about light-skin privilege if she chooses to. You don't have to be receiving a certain privilege in order to speak about it. This person says, I can't unsee it. And then they have pictures of her next to different cartoon characters trying to say that's what she looks like. And these are both male cartoon characters. Once again, who's the main group of women who has been outraged about masculinization of their image and, showing, comparing them to men in order to make fun of them and how that's so morally wrong and how you shouldn't do that because that's mean and that's bullying. Where are all of those unambiguous dark-skinned black women coming out and talking about this now? Because that's what they're doing. Ekane identifies herself as monoracially black. I don't see those women coming out with those talking points now. Notice how they're all dead silent. They don't care that Ekane gets compared to men. They only care when their specific skin tone and phenotype gets compared to men. That's why I said this is not about social justice, it's about social status. This girl says, dark skin for the win. The skin tone eats everyone, honey. So she's saying basically, I'm the winner. My dark skin tone wins and it eats everyone, like it's above everyone. And then she posts a picture of herself, looking cute. But imagine if this would have been a light-skinned woman saying light skin for the win, the skin tone eats everyone, honey, and then she posts a picture of herself. She'd be called a colorist. This person says, Ekane is brown skin / caramel. I want to know, where does she see that she's light skinned at? So once again, why does it matter how Ekane views her own skin tone? Why do you want to control Ekane's self-perception? Why do you want to control how she views her own skin tone? Like seriously, I have heard white people call themselves brown. I literally have. I've heard white people call themselves dark-skinned. And even though I may not consider them dark-skinned, compared to me, I don't actually care enough about how they perceive their own skin tone to the point where I would say, oh, you're not dark skinned, you're just Italian. I don't have as strong of a hierarchical mindset to the point where I feel the need to go out of my way to not only correct a person on their self-perception of their skin tone, but to correct a stranger, a literal stranger online that I don't even know, to correct them on their self-perception of their skin tone. And so my thing is, when white girls get a tan and then they call themselves tan, even though they're still ivory colored, are you correcting them on their skin tone perception? Like, hey, Taylor Swift, I know that you went on vacation and you got a tan, but you don't have tan skin, Taylor Swift. You're still white. Your skin is ivory colored. Your skin is still porcelain colored. Your skin is still milky colored, Taylor Swift. That's not your skin tone. Your skin tone is something else. I don't see that same energy with white women. So why is there always this policing of the term light skin? Like I said, if you police it, you're pedestalizing it. And why is it usually non-light skinned people or people in the monoracial black community, people in Blackistan, who are arguing up and down about what's light skin, what's not light skin, you're caramel, you're brown skin, you're light brown, you're red bone, you have a copper undertone. So it's like you're literally comparing pictures, you're comparing them to somebody else who's lighter than them. And like I said, anytime you want to silence someone or clap back when it comes to this talking point, all you have to do is ask them, okay, what color is light skin? Name a color, not a celebrity. Name the actual color. What color is light skin? Tan? Brown? What? Paper bag? Oh, okay, so you actually do support colorism then, because you don't care about upholding the paper bag test, right? Which historically wasn't the paper bag test historically used to quote unquote promote colorism? And so you guys talk about that being bad all the time, right? And how that was really bad back in the day when they used the paper bag test and all that. But then you're trying to uphold the paper bag test right now, today, in 2024. So notice how it's only colorist if a light-skinned person does it. It's never colorist if a dark-skinned black woman does the same thing or says the exact same words. This person says, being self-aware is important, but not like this. Oh my gosh. It's one thing to know you're benefiting, but to reinforce it? Woo. So, first of all, to this person, she says being self-aware is important, but not like this. Okay, so my question for you is, when is it okay for light-skinned people to talk about being light-skinned? When is it okay for mixed people or biracial people or women who are accused of being privileged to discuss their privilege? When is that okay? When is it okay for us to come online and discuss our experiences and how we are going to build ourselves up? When is that okay? And also, what words should Ekane have used instead of the words that she used in her TikTok? Because a lot of people have the tendency to tell you what you're doing wrong, but then they don't tell you how to do it the correct way. So what's the correct way for Ekane to discuss her privilege? If she wants to, what's the correct way for her to acknowledge her privilege? Because the black community has been telling people for decades, acknowledge your privilege. You need to check your privilege. You need to check your light skin privilege. Okay, so that's what Ekane was doing. So please tell me, what's the correct way to acknowledge your privilege? This person says, you only have to watch a few seconds to get the gist. So they are basically admitting that they only watched a few seconds of her clip. Like they didn't even watch the whole thing. They didn't learn anything about her or where she's coming from or who her audience is. They didn't learn anything about that or her background, what community she identifies as being a part of. Nope. You only have to watch a few seconds and you already know who she is, because it's okay to judge a person within a few seconds if it's Ekane. It's not okay to judge a dark-skinned, unambiguous person, because that's called stereotyping. That's called racism, right? That's called colorism. If you judge a dark-skinned black woman within seconds, oh, I already get the gist of it. I already know who she is. I already know what type of person she is. This person says, still looks like the struggle she is. So please tell me, Black Coolie, what does looking like struggle look like? Because when I think of Ekane, if I were to describe her phenotype, she appears to have West African facial features. She appears to have type 4 hair or some sort of afro textured hair. So what about those features looks like struggle? So are you saying that Afrocentric features and afros look like struggle? So you're saying that blackness is struggle? Are you saying that black features are struggle? I would love for you to go more into detail about what facial features you associate with struggle and what facial features you associate with privilege. And same thing goes for skin tones. What skin tones look like struggle? And what skin tones look like privilege? But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comments section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.